And then today, again, we're reviewing for our test. You have 3 topics on your test. One of those is distance formula. The second one is midpoint. Midpoint has the harder of the 2 questions on it. And then you have what we did yesterday, simplifying radicals, okay? So the first one is distance. Remember, for distance, we do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we draw our triangle like we did for slope, our rise over run. And we plug those 2 numbers into our a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, no worries. All right, so we count our boxes. Our rise was 3. Our run was 4. So we do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. You guys can put that in your calculator. Don't freak out about it. Remember now, though, you know how to do it without decimals. 3 squared plus 4 squared. And we get 25. Remember, to solve, to get rid of the square, we take the square root. And if you can get a whole number, then that's good. Just be done with it. But if not, in a minute, I'll remind you how to reduce them. So remember that your third goal is just reducing those square roots. So we're going to go over that quite a bit today, okay? All right. Check out number 2. Gonna make my triangle. It doesn't matter if you make it on the top or the bottom. Count your boxes. I got 6 boxes on that side. 8 boxes on this side. Put it in your Pythagorean theorem. Doesn't matter which one goes first. If you give me 6 squared plus 8 squared, that's fine. Then we get 100. Then we take the square root. You want to try that in your calculator first. So square root of 100. And we do get a whole number 10. So then I don't have to worry about simplifying. Any questions on those 2? Everybody okay? It's really simple, right? All right. Like I told everybody in class today, I'm going to go ahead and open those tests as soon as we're done here. So if you guys want to get started on them, that's fine. Just make sure at some point tomorrow you log in, okay? Even if it's just a login for a second just to get your attendance, okay? So if you finish those tests today, you don't have anything tomorrow except for login. Got it? All right. Next one, same thing. Make your triangle. Have 3 boxes on the bottom. 4 on the side. So I do 3 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. 3 squared plus 4 squared, we already found out on question 1 was 25. And then we took the square root and we got 5. All right. So be careful when you get to the next ones. I saw that on your quizzes, some of you had a hard time with these. If you need to, graph them. If you're sitting in here, I have some graph paper I can give you. If you're at home, there's graph paper on Canvas you can print off, or you can make it yourself, but you just got to be careful. All right. So here's what I'm talking about. I have some graph paper for this one. All right, negative 5, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I graph those, I can do my rise and my run. My rise was 1. My run was 3. So then I can do 1 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. What is 1 squared plus 3 squared? 10. What's the next step? What do I do now? How to finish it? Take the square root. If you draw it in the air, whatever. Yeah, take the square root. So square root of 10, when I put it in my calculator, gives me a crazy decimal, so I know it's not going to break down. I showed you how to do the decimals versus the answers. You can do that. That's fine. Or remember, I taught you how to break it down. Factors of 10 are 2 and 5. Do I see any pairs? No. So there's absolutely nothing I can do to this. So your answer is square root 10. Okay, so if you want to graph it. You can use the graphs that are already on your paper. You can use the graphs that you've had on your packet right there. It doesn't matter. Okay, use them up. Otherwise, how far apart is -7 and +8? Guys, you have a number line right here. -7 would be over here. +8 would be over here. So it's a long way away. It's not 1. It's a long way away. How far is it? More. $15. It is 15. -7 to 0 is 7 units. 0 to 8 is 8 units. We add that together and we get 15. Okay. How far is it from 7 to 2 on a number line? 5. And we don't want any negatives, all positives. Those are your two numbers for Pythagorean theorem. 15 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. And then it's all calculator. If you don't have a calculator, remember I have calculators built into Canvas for you. Okay, use them. So 15 squared plus 5 squared, plus I taught you how to get them on your calculator on your phones. If you need to remember that, I'll tell you how. We get 250. If I try to do the square root of 250, I get a decimal. Again, you can use that decimal and compare it to your answers. That's perfectly fine because it is multiple choice. Or we can review breaking it down, which is exactly what we're going to do because on goal 3, that's what you're going to be doing, okay? So factors of 250. We don't know them, which is fine. We go into y equals and do 250 divided by x. Second graph, and we see some crazy big numbers. Oh, there's a good one. 10 and 25. We know those factors, right? What are your factors of 10 and 25? 2 and 5. 25 is 5 and 5. Do we see pairs? Yes, we see a pair of 5. The 5 comes out, and we left 2 times 5. What is 2 times 5? But again, you can compare your decimals like you did on your quiz. I don't mind, okay? Whichever way that you're comfortable with, that's what you need to do. All right. Number 6. We're only going to do a couple more of these. I'm not going to do all 10 of them. I think you understand once you get through it. If you need more, tell me and I'll help you. +2 to -2. How far away? 7 to -2. Everybody good? Do your Pythagorean theorem. 4 squared plus 9 squared equals c squared. What is 4 squared plus 9 squared? You guys tell me. $97. If I take the square root, I get a nasty decimal. So I can try and find my factors of 97. There's 10 and 9.7, 1 and 97. Did you see anything else? No, there's not anything else. So will this break down? That will be your multiple choice answer. Okay, so if it doesn't break down, that's as good as it gets. All right, look at number 8. 0 to 1, 1 unit. -2 to -5. Perfect. So I do 1 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. What is 1 squared plus 3 squared? We've already done this one. 10. And we found out that 10 would not break down, so that's your answer. Do I need to do any more of these? Is everybody okay in the classroom? Zoomers, you guys okay? I'm going to move on to goal 2. All right, goal 1, done. Again, remember it's multiple choice, so you should be okay. Use your decimals, whatever. All right, remember midpoint. You take your x's, add them together and divide by 2. You take your y's, add them together and divide by 2, and that makes up your coordinate. We'll talk about the last 3 in a minute. Okay, so let's just deal with midpoint. We're not going to do every one of these either. That's why I said I'm going to go ahead and open those tests out for you, so you can go ahead and get started now. All right. You do not have to finish them while you're sitting here in class if you do not want to, okay? I'm just telling you that it's a good time to do it if you have questions, and then you won't have anything to do tomorrow. Be a good day to take off, okay? So we're going to find the midpoint. Remember, these are your x's and your y's. You take your 2 x's, which are 6 and -4, and you add them together and divide it by 2. What is 6 plus -4? 2. What's 2 divided by 2? So your midpoint x is 1. Check your multiple choice at this point and mark out anything that's not good. You might already be done and not have to do anything else, okay? So don't do more work than you have to. Be real smart about this. Then go to your y's. -1 plus +1 divided by 2. What is -1 plus 1? 0 divided by 2. 0. And you can put that in your calculator and check it out. No worries. Sometimes that's a little confusing. And then your midpoint answer should be 1, 0. Y'all, that's it. Don't make it any hard. These should be easy goals to finish out this section with, okay? Easy goals. Number 2, these are grade booster goals. Should be hundreds across the board, okay? Should be hundreds across the board. Here's your x and y. Your 2 x's are -2 plus -6 divided by 2. What is -2 plus -6? And if you guys have to use a calculator, use it. Nobody's going to know, okay? -8 divided by 2 is? Check and make sure all of your x's are -4. If they are not, sorry, I got a paper clip under there. If they're not, then mark them out. You know those won't be your answers. Your y's are -2 plus -4 divided by 2. -2 plus -4 divided by 2 is? So your answer should be -4, -3. Guys, it's literally that simple. Don't make it harder than what it is. It's super easy. Okay. I'm going to just jump down to number 4. Here's your x and your y. So your 2 x's are -5 and -12. And we're going to add them and divide by 2. What is -5 plus -12? Leave it just like that. So look for your x to be -17/2. If it puts it in decimal form, just put it in your calculator and figure out the decimal, okay? Your y's are 5 and 0. We're going to add those together and divide by 2. 5 plus 0 is 5. Divided by 2 is going to give you a decimal. It won't reduce. Put it up there, okay? If it gives you a decimal, put it in your calculator if you're not sure. -17 divided 2 is -8.5. And 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So again, don't use your calculator as a crutch, but if you need it, use it, okay? All right, one more like this and then we'll move to the bottom. The bottom are the ones that you miss the most, but if you'll pay attention now and go take that quiz right after you finish this, you won't forget it for tomorrow. X, Y, X, Y. Our 2 x's are -11. We're going to add that to -1 and divide by 2. What is negative 11 plus negative 1? What is negative 12 divided by 2? Again, go look at all your answers for that negative 6 as your x-coordinate. And when you don't see it, mark it out. Negative 2 plus negative 6 is your next one. What is negative 2 plus negative 6? What is negative 8 divided by 2? So your coordinate is negative 6, negative 4. Any questions on midpoint so far? It's pretty easy, right? Pretty easy quiz. Test. We call it a test, but it really should be a quiz. All right, check these out. I don't like any of these because they're fractions, but we're going to get it. We're going to get it. All right. So we have the endpoint and then the midpoint. I'm going to look at the first one, but I want to do the whole numbers first, okay? Doesn't matter. I'm going to do the whole numbers first. How far is it from 1 to 0 and in what direction?
1.
What direction? So minus 1, right? I had to subtract 1 to get there. So I'm going to subtract 1 here. What is 0 minus 1? So I'm going to look for a y-coordinate of negative 1, mark out anything that I don't see. So what about this? How do I do that? You can. Let's see, negative 13 over 8. This will be kind of hard. See that ugly decimal? So I don't like these because these are fractions. So just bear with me for a minute, and then I'll change one of them to make a whole number so you guys can see it, okay? So what if you get this on your quiz? You're going to put in that 3 plus 2/5. That gives you 3.4. And we said the other one was negative 1.625. We're going to subtract those. 3.4 minus negative 1.625. What did we get? That's how much you went up. That's how much you went up. So from negative to positive, I went up 5.025. So that's what I'm going to do right here, plus 5.025. This one sucks really, really bad, okay? So just bear with me. So we had 3 2/5, which was 3.4. We're going to add 5.025. And we get this nasty number that I can make it a fraction, and it's really nasty there too, okay? So don't stress about it. 8.425 is what you're looking for. Change these. Let's do just negative 1 and negative 3. Let's do whole numbers only, okay? So negative 2, negative 1, and then your midpoint is 3, negative 3. I don't like that they use fractions, and I don't think your test uses fractions, okay? So don't stress about that. And if it does, ask me and I'll help you. Not a problem. All right. How far is it from negative 2 to 3 on a number line? In which way? Did I move up or down? I went up 5. So I'm going to put that underneath the x. Up 5. What about negative 1 to negative 3? Which way? Up or down?
Negative.
Down 2. Then you just add them up. 3 plus 5 is 8. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. Okay. I'm going to do it again with different coordinates. Let's make this one a full 0. So here are your coordinates. Negative 2, 0, and 1, 1. How far is it from negative 2 to positive 1? I went up 3. Is everybody good? So I added 3. How far is it from 0 to positive 1? And I went up 1. So what is my new coordinate? 4, 2. Let me show you another way real fast. Not trying to throw you off, or just something easy. So if you get some really crappy coordinates and you're not real sure because you're not real good with the number line, it's okay. Plot these. I have negative 2, 0. So I'm going to put S for start. And then I have 1, 1. Okay. That's your midpoint. How did I get from S to M, my start to my midpoint? So I can go up 1 and over 3 again. And then what coordinate is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. What did we get? So you can do it on your graph as well. So if it confuses you to think about a number line, you can do that. I'll show you one more time. We'll do it with this. So we have -2, -1 is my start. My midpoint is at 3, -3. So how did I move? So over 5, down 2 would make it right here. So what is that coordinate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. Everybody see it? Yes, ma'am. You can, oh my gosh, it's forever though. Okay, so if you wanted to do the equation, I'm just going to do one side of it. The other side is exactly the same. So if we were doing this, we'd pick our two x's. This is your midpoint x though. So this is your midpoint x and midpoint y. Your midpoint x was 1. Your other x was -2. We're looking for the other endpoint divided by 2. To solve, we multiply 2. So this cancels out. And then we add our 2 to get our 4. So if you want to do the equation, absolutely do the equation. I just think the other two are a little bit faster and a little bit easier. But if you like the equation, use it. Okay. Everybody good with midpoint? Again, if you get here and you have questions, just ask me. No worries. All right, simplifying square roots. All right, square root 18. Break down 18. What are my factors? 2 and 9. 2 will not break down. 9 will break into. We do have a pair, so we circle that. That comes to the outside. What we did not circle stays on the inside. That's it. Okay. You're going to see some ones that you haven't seen yet, but they're really easy as well. Letters work the same way, so your variables are going to work the same exact way. Okay, so 27. 9 times 3. 9 breaks into, and this 3 will not break down. Make sure you pull it down though so you're not missing it. We have a pair of 3s, so we pull out a 3. What did we not circle? That's it. All right. All right. Negative square root 144x squared. So let's start with 144 and x squared. What are your factors of 144? Which are already pairs, right? So don't break them down anymore. Then x squared, remember, is 2 x's, right? Everybody good? So just write down the number, whatever it is. So if it's x cubed, you write down 3 x's. X to the 5th, 5 x's. Do we have pairs? What do we have pairs of? 12 and x's. There's already a negative outside. Remember, if there's something outside, we keep it. We circled a 12. We circled an x. And we didn't leave anything else inside. That's it. That's all you do. Okay. Look at number 6. What are your factors of 162? And again, I don't know them, so I don't expect you to, but I did teach you how to find them. You can also guess and check. So if you don't have this calculator, I know this is what I would do. I know that 162 is divisible by 2, so it's 2 and 81. And then I know my factors of 81. I just made it easy on myself. The factors of 81 are 9 and 9. Is everybody good? And then 5 ends. So what do I have pairs of?
9 ends.
How many ends?
2.
2 pairs of 2. So we had a 3 on the outside, a -3. We're just going to bring that down. We circled a 9. We circled an N. We circled an N. And what did we leave underneath?
2.
A 2 and an N. You just push them together. 9 times -3.
That's -27.
How many total N's do I have outside?
2.
That's what I write. 2 N's. So N squared. And then inside, I just have a 2 and an N. Again, don't make it more complicated than what it is. Letters work the exact same way. All right, we're going to do another one. 112, M to the 3rd, P to the 4th, Q. What are our factors in 112? Again, I don't have one of these calculators at home, so I'm going to try 112 divide 2 because I know it's divisible by 2. Okay, I know my factors are 56, but maybe you don't, but it's also divisible by 2. Okay, now I got 28. Do we know factors of 28?
And it's also 2.
Say it again.
Also 2.
Oh, yeah, so we can do 2 again. And we get 14
It's also 2.
and 7, right? So you can do it. You can keep doing that until you get to the end. We have 3 M's, 4 P's, and a Q. What do we have pairs of?
2 Q's, 1 M, and 2 P's.
Bring down -10. We had 2 2's. We had 2 M's. I'm sorry, 1 M, 2 P's. And what did I leave not circled?
7 M, 3.
And then clean up the front. What's -10 times 2
-20.
times 2?
-40.
An M and 2 P's, a 7, an M, and a Q. That's it. Don't make it any harder than what it is. All right. Let's look at number 9 because we already did 112. So let's do something we haven't done. Let's look at number 9 and we'll stop here. Okay. If you need more help, let me know. So 125, H, J to the 3rd, K to the 4th. What's factors of 125?
5.
Okay. I can divide by 5. Oh, 5 and 25. So I can break this down, right? So it said 5 and 25. 5 doesn't break down anymore, but 25 breaks into. Perfect. So you don't need this calculator to find your factors. We have an H, 3 J's, and 4 K's. What do I have pairs of?
2 5's, 3 J's, and 1 J.
I get what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Sorry, y'all. So we have a pair of 5's, a pair of J's, and 2 pairs of K's. Don't forget that we already had a 7. We circled a 5, a J, and 2 K's. What did we leave underneath?
5 H and J.
7 times 5?
35.
1 J, 2 K's, underneath a 5 HJ. Any questions? Is everybody okay? Zoomers, I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.